I don't think of myself as a particularly domestic housewife. That's not really what I ever wanted to be. But being a wife and having a home and having children, you kind of figure things out that are super helpful. So these are my 3 household tips to make your life easier. Oh, hi. First, get a babysitter. Just kidding. But it does make your life easier. My first tip comes in the form of 2 cleaners. I'm not big on using like harsh chemicals or stuff like that unless it's absolutely necessary. And these 2 suckers have proven themselves so many times. I use this for almost every cleaning need that I have. The tough and the easy. Soda. Regular old baking soda. It works like a charm. It is magical, wondrous for using with anything that's burned to the bottom of your pan, anything that smells bad, anything that is like glued that you can't get off. You use warm water and some baking soda, let it sit, and it's magic what can happen. Okay, you can see this pan has some like buildup here. I don't know if you can tell, that's a little bit easier to tell. But it's got some buildup. It's not super bad, but it's just the sort of thing where it's not gonna come off easy. Honestly, it's like the only thing I have to show you for a demonstration. So I'm sorry I didn't like burn the bottom of my pan as a demo, but trust me, if you burn the bottom of your pan, if there's food stuff, like food just crusted to the bottom, just dust, a little bit of baking soda all over the bottom, fill it with hot water, boil it, and as soon as it's like boiled for just, I don't know, 10 seconds, turn it off, and literally whatever's on the bottom of the pan just like falls off. And you scrub it a little bit. If you need to do it again, you do it again. It's done. It's amazing. That's plenty. Put in some hot water. This is a very large container of, they call it alcohol nikis, which is basically it's just white vinegar, like, but it's specifically just vinegar for cleaning, really. So it's not like red wine or white wine. It's just white vinegar for cleaning. That will take off any sort of like calcium from like if you have hard water buildup or something like that. If there's anything that has like a really bad smell, you mix this with water, like really dilute it though, and use that, and it takes away almost everything. Those are the first 2 of my magical tips for an easier lifestyle, and now I'll demonstrate. I'm gonna demo over here for you. Most people here in Europe have one of these. I love this. If you don't have one, I really recommend you get one. It boils water for you very quickly. I did a video about it when we got it. See how there's like buildup on the bottom of that? It's like a calcium buildup or whatever from the minerals in the water. And it gets like super thick in some of these. I think the one at Luca's work is like literally, I thought there was rocks in it. That's how like much buildup was in there. So anyways, it can be a little bit or a lot, and this is where the magic comes in. Take some of my alcohol nikis, which is just regular old vinegar. And probably this would work with like apple cider vinegar also. That's just white vinegar, about that much. Probably like 1/3 of a cup. And then I'm just gonna fill it like this much with water because it's not really on the sides as much as it is on the bottom. Close it, put it on its thing, start it. It's gonna boil, and then literally I just pour it out and everything else comes out with it. And then I just rinse it with some water and it's totally clean. It's amazing. Anything like this, like if you have like buildup in your shower or around your shower head or anything, you can take like just regular white vinegar and sponge it on all around there. Leave it for 5 minutes or whatever, come back, scrub it, and it'll probably come right off. Super easy cleaners that are totally like, you can eat them and you won't die. I personally like to use cleaners like that. Look at that. perfect. Literally perfect. Okay, the last and final thing on my list of like pro tips for your house is called a pressure cooker. Pressure cookers are wonders of science. I can't imagine life without it now. It makes it so much easier. I used to soak lentils overnight, and then the next morning I would put them in my Dutch oven and slow cook them on like really slow, like low temperatures all day long. And then that night, maybe they would be done after like 8 hours of them cooking, right? And with this, I literally can put in dry lentils and in 20 minutes, they're done. That's unbelievable. The way I like to think of pressure cookers is just throw whatever I have in my refrigerator into the pressure cooker, because that gives it like more flavor, and pretty much you don't have to eat everything you put in there, but whatever you put in there is going to give it flavor. Today I'm going to do chicken breast, and I'm gonna make like a sauce that we'll put on pasta. And this is what mine looks like. One thing you can always think of is that meat will make whatever broth or whatever else in here so much more flavorful. So what I like to do as kind of like a general recipe is onions, garlic, meat, and then throw in a vegetable of whatever kind you want. The only thing is, when you cook meat, the vegetable will turn to like mush. So I did it where I did kale, like kale leaves with a turkey breast, and then I took the turkey breast out and I made the like liquid into a soup, a kale soup, and it was amazing. So first things first, I'm gonna add water, and I'm just gonna go to the minimum line because then I can add more later if I need to. Usually by the time you put everything else in there, it's already at the max, so. Okay, so I have leftover I had a huge head of kale, and this is like, I took the underneath leftovers, chopped it, cleaned it, chopped it. I'm gonna put that in. It's going to like, it's a lot of volume, but it'll go down. So first I'm gonna put that in. And then these were in our freezer. It's Brussels sprouts. I think I put them in the freezer a long time ago because we were going on a trip and I thought they'd go bad before we had a chance to eat them. So I'm gonna put them in. I have 1 red onion. This is literally all I have left, or I would put in like 3 or 4 yellow onions. Livia. Honestly, I think whatever you do tastes great if you put in like 3, 4, 5 onions. Makes it amazing. For lentils, I do like 7 onions and a little tomato sauce, and it's incredible. Since I don't have onions, I'm just gonna use tons and loads of garlic, and it's gonna make it taste amazing. So this is going to be like garlic chicken sauce for pasta. So it's looking good. It's quite full already. Alright, I'm gonna salt this mixture a bit. There's debate whether you should or should not. I've salted and peppered my meat. It's still a bit frozen because I took it out of the freezer. Because this is going to be a pasta sauce, I'm going to add 1 container of tomato sauce on top of this. And I'm going to start it to boil. It needs to come to a boil before I put the lid on. This is what it looks like. I think it's better if the meat is not just on top, but like in there a little bit. And then once it boils, I'll put the lid on. Alright, now it is boiling. Looks incredible. Now to put the lid on, put it on it like this. And then what you do is I don't know if I can do this. And you turn it so that it locks. Ta-da! Now, this is where you can... Leia. She's totally fine, by the way. She's just been... Fine. Absolutely fine. Now, so that is where you... This is where you control the pressure, how much pressure is in there. Use a spatula, turn the dial to 2. This little thing comes out, tells you that there's pressure building up in there. Put that there. Now this thing will start to come out when pressure, as it builds, and it'll tell you like if it's okay, if it's gotten to be too much pressure, blah, blah, blah. Once that starts to raise, then I know that the pressure's building up, and then I set a timer for it and I reduce the heat until it's like goes down a little bit but doesn't stop. Okay, now you see how the green bars are coming up? There's like one green bar and then another and then a red. And when it's red, then it's too much pressure and you're like in danger. This thing, there we go. Ta-da! Just twist the key.
Wow.